Welcome back to the OPL, guys. We just saw the Chiefs 2-0 Hellions in pretty emphatic fashions, but we have the second matchup of our double headers. It is going to be Legacy taking on Infernum. We're actually just going to jump straight into this one. Bring the lineups on your screen. So it will be starting on the blue side. Legacy, Tally in the top lane, a Carbon, their captain owner, and a great guy as their jungler. Choo Choo's their mid laner. Your boy King in AD carry, and Regret their support. This is a team that, as an Oceanic fan, you just have to be excited about right now. Frost, this team has gone from strength to strength. They're are they the best team in Oceania right now? Like, how do you rate these guys?
In Oceania, yes. Are they better than the Chiefs last year? I don't think so yet.
Ooh, there's some fighting words, and they're going to have a new opponent coming up against them. It will be Infernum on the red side of the rift. Jack Attack, they're rocking the top lane. Seb in the jungle, my most underrated player. Mid Beast in the middle lane. Stealthix and Wiffle is their support. Today, it actually won't be Wiffle. It'll be Malik playing in the support position. Because of the emergency sub, Yuzuki was going to be playing. Then Malik's now subbed in. They lose all their bans for game ones. Want to throw that open. It's bad enough you're playing against Legacy face return. Yep. Now you're playing against Legacy with no bans at all.
It's just, I mean, it's hard. Like, you have a player subbing in. It's hard to say exactly what went wrong for the team in the situation, but it can't be a good thing. Yuzuki was really showing up. He was a strong-looking player, was doing proactive things for the team, and that's what a lot of these younger teams need, just a loud voice to sort of get them somewhere and make stuff happen on the rift. With that gone, and the emergency sub, and all the bans lost for the first game, it's rough here, playing against the undefeated Legacy.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the case. I know you're a big fan of Yuzuki, the ability to actually at least make something happen on Summoner's Rift. Who do they now look to on the side of Infernum to get that done?
I think I have to go with Seb, just because I agree. I think he's actually a very talented jungler, but unfortunately, we'll get into this at some point, but he's fighting an uphill battle, but I think it is all on Seb to pick up for Yuzuki.
Okay, so now let's take a look at this holistically. If you're looking at this matchup, what draws your eyes in regards to this match? Where are you going with it?
I'm going for the 2v2 jungle mid versus each other. So you have Mid Beast and Seb versus Carbon and Choo Choo's. Now, I don't think Choo Choo's is the best mid laner in the league, but I definitely think he's the elite mid laner in a league, and I think Carbon is by far the best jungler in the league. Seb is good. Mid Beast has some issues where he just loses so much control, and if you're losing control over that central point, it just leaks into everything else.
Yeah, I agree. Like, Infernum's team is just weighted in such a weird place now. It's sort of like a solid bottom lane, mid laner who can play lots of different champions, but seems to fall behind, and I would say should default to control mages because he can get more done once he gets to the mid and late game. And a very strong top laner, I will say, in Jack, who's been playing well, and a strong jungler. But you kind of have the wrong balance here. Whereas you look at Legacy, they've got strong jungler, strong top laner, strong mid laner. That is exactly the way you want to be playing this meta right now. Legacy have said it themselves that the meta suits them and it shows. And for me, it just doesn't suit Infernum. There's such a big stylistic mismatch here where Legacy are playing the right way, given the metagame, and Infernum can't play that style and are already behind.
But you just mentioned all of their solo laners. You didn't even get down to the bottom lane between
it doesn't matter.
King and Regret, and we're playing with the sub, and I mean, Stealthix may be the KDA King, but he's against the actual King.
I feel like that's actually going to take a little bit of a hit tonight for Stealthix because I do want to explore King as well. This is someone that has been very vocal on Twitter about the fact that on this team he just feels like hands off the keyboard, don't really need to do much. But we are waiting for a King game where he just goes berserk on people.
And he's had King moments, which is always great because King, a very aggressive player, he plays in a very entertaining way, certainly one that I like to watch. And he's had, some moments, but he's never gone completely off and gone nuts. And he doesn't need to. I think Legacy have done a good job maturing him as a player. I think as the metagame shifts back towards AD, will King still be able to carry as hard? Is a great question we'll get to answer at one point. But right now, King and Regret, they're an awesome bottom lane. On paper, they're one of the best in the league. So the fact that they can actually hands off the keyboard and look fine is good for them. So when the time comes, will they step up? We'll have to answer that later. Because right now, it is just a free roll.
Yeah, it certainly does seem to be that case. The one person on Infernum that has very much impressed me, if we're not going to talk about the jungle position, is Jack Attack. I guess his maturity as a player, the willingness to step up. You spoke at length about his willingness to jump on things that aren't pure tanks now, maybe a bit out of his comfort zone. He's going up against Tally, who's one of the newer top laners of the league. Is there a way that Jack can, set his team up for success? Is a big Nautilus pick going to come out? What are your thoughts on Jack as a top laner right now?
Well, I said this before, and I'll say it again. This idea that because bruisers are becoming more relevant in the meta, it actually suits Jack because he's transitioning his role a little bit. And just as these bruisers get more powerful, it gives him more impact. I'd love to see him just go off on a carry-oriented jungler, but I have a feeling that's going to be bruiser versus bruiser.
Yeah, and I think for me, I agree. Jack is a strong player. He's been playing well. I think in general, Infernum just needs to rally behind Jack. If he's going to play a lot of bruisers, lots of tanks, just get a decent scaling carry in mid laner, truck him behind it, do the standard front to back composition, and just play to your strengths. Because Infernum, they've got strength in jungle and top. Play behind them. Don't play like 480 carries and try and do something too fancy. Just play solid, try and team fight and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll certainly see if that is what they're going to do, because the teams are ready to get onto the rift, guys. Before we go there, I want to hear from you. Use that hashtag IMOPL on Twitter. Share your thoughts about Legacy and Infernum right now. But Rusty and Atlas are standing alongside, so let's give it to them.
Thank you very much for it as well, Spawn, as we are about to hop into the game between Infernum and Legacy. Of course, two teams that actually met only 2 games ago. Of course, these guys mentioned King. King, since the last meeting of Infernum, has gone... Yeah, he's got a 51 KDA since that point. He's died once.
14.
Yeah, that was last series.
Last series, it didn't
Series
die
before
the
he
one
didn't die.
before, yeah. Look, it's a mismatch in the bottom lane. They do have the sub, they're missing bans, which does directly affect the drafting phase. Legacy being first pick, Kog'Maw exists. King played Kog'Maw before it was actually considered good and in the meta. I think there's a reasonable chance that we're going to see a Kog'Maw.
And the fact that they have so much control here as well. I mean, the Trundle is going to be banned away from Jack Attack. I mean, you may look at it and think, oh, this is probably a support ban, but it's not. It is, in fact, a top lane ban against Jack Attack. The one successful champion that he's managed, well, successful comp has been around this Trundle here for Infernum, as Alistair is always also going to leave the Rift. Interesting that they're banning a support when they do have Malik stepping in, who was, of course, originally a jungler for Absolute last year, now turned Infernum. They do understand that supports and junglers are interchangeable. Of course, Mattress on the side.
Self to make an assumption that, I mean, if it's a Kalista pick on the flip side, if Legacy go for the Kog'Maw, Kalista Alistar, pretty good. You don't have to actually do anything as a support.
That's a good point.
Stealthix decides when you're going in or when he wants to be saved. Makes it a pretty easy job. You can almost assume as well that Janna could be worth considering for Malik. Who knows what he plays, though, honestly, as support.
Yeah, well, it's worked out for Denian so far. I mean, he's not necessarily a support player himself, but picks the Janna, is able to at least facilitate things there. But it is the Corki is the final ban here away from Stealthix, or, of course, Midbeast, who has been playing it a bit. Corki was nerfed slightly, mostly that late-game phosphorus bomb damage, things like that. Of course, Gatling gun toned down a little bit as well. As Legacy now just waiting for this clock to run out, and I have a feeling it will just be the Kog'Maw, like surely. And then there's so many things to pick.
Yeah, I mean, there's still other champions. So Lissandra, Lulu, the 2 Legacy specials, as is Gangplank.
Yep.
A lot of options available for them. The question is always priority.
Yeah, well, it is going to be the Lulu priority here for Legacy, understanding that there are multiple AD carries that do work with that combination anyway. And Infernum now just looking through the massive amount of things. I can't hold all of these power picks, as the Gragas is there, the Kog'Maw is there, the Gangplank is there, all of the champions.
Yeah,
Lissandra's there, man.
I just want to touch back on Legacy picking the Lulu as well. It's actually very important that they pick the Lulu up over the Kog'Maw. They can always get a Caitlyn, put that with the Lulu, run the Lulu, Caitlyn, Janna type of composition, just protect King as the AD carry. Lulu unlocks AD carries to be hyper carries, doesn't bottleneck them into being something like a Lucian that can be protect or have any type of self-peel. So no Ezreal's likely to be seen.
Well, it is just going to be those 2 power picks of 6.3 as Kog'Maw and Gragas both going to be picked up here from Infernum. So denying the Lulu-Kog'Maw combination, but it is going to be a little bit less comfortable Kog'Maw here in the hands of Stealthix, as he won't have that sort of backup of the Lulu and the extra movement speed there that he is going to have.
Which makes the assumption that the support will be something like the Janna or something that can keep him alive, potentially Braum as well.
Nami.
Needs to be considered. Highly unlikely, but still possible. Won't write it off. Don't know what Malik plays.
That is true. Malik can play all sorts. It might be Sejuani's support. Who knows? That was the last champion
The
I saw him
Gragas
play.
was also picked with it. And
That's
the Gragas is one of the few junglers that have disengage. So Kog'Maw feels a bit safer already.
Yeah, and another really good point that you raised was the Janna, and we did see, of course, when Gragas was sort of at the top echelon of his play, it was being used in conjunction with Janna a lot for these mass disengage type team comps. As Carbon goes back to definite comfort here in the form of Elise, and they pick up the Braum. Double wall comp might be a possibility here. Of course, a bit of that Choo Choo's Yasuo flavor would be excited.
It's possible. It is entirely possible. Choose one of the few Yasuo players.
Yeah, but Gangplank's still up, man. It's really scary when they've just got only the 3 bans and they go to Trundle, Alistair, Corki.
Yeah, so they should pick their support here in Infernum, I would imagine. and their top laner for Jack Attack so that they can actually flex their mid lane to be something on the assumption that it could be a Gangplank. Mid Beast again, Zed.
Yep.
Entirely possible.
Well, he's hovering it at the moment as Stealthix is on the vein. Two definite, you know, powerful picks in their own right, but probably not going to be picked up here as Nautilus Soraka are going to be picked up. It is the Soraka for Malik.
Damn.
As the Kog'Maw Soraka is a disgusting lane. That is revolting. That is just utter filth.
The thing is, it's still a Soraka without a Callista, and that's generally where you see Soraka because you can keep the Soraka alive by pulling her back with the Fate's Call. This is a Kog'Maw that Soraka needs to keep alive.
True.
So if Legacy with their last picks get some kind of engage in their top lane, maybe even Lissandra for the middle lane, then you'll find that they'll be quite happy with going into this composition. They just need to execute on their vision and their team fights beginnings effectively.
We'll see what they do.
Same with laning phase. It's a Braum Lucian, so it's straight up if a Braum Q connects, by Soraka.
Yeah, ouch, in other words. Oh, by Kog'Maw as well. I mean, you can heal him all you want, but that's on a cooldown. And they're going to have a lot of damage up their sleeve as well, as King is thinking about an Ashe. As that is going to be the lock-in, as Choo-Choo's has locked away the Gangplank as well. So Tally or Choo-Choo is going to be playing that one. The Ultra Flex.
No, it just makes sense.
And King picks up the Ashe.
It actually makes sense. They needed engage. They didn't want to pick something in the top lane role with GP available that has to engage. Straight up, just go for the Ashe. Just hit him with the arrow.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
rest of the team can follow. You can't really kill the Ashe. They've got a Lulu to protect it, a Braum to keep it alive as well. So they're running the Super Kite bottom lane with the Gangplank ultimate as well for extra added kite, catch, anything that they would like.
Yep.
And they've got an Elise for pick. So I feel like this Legacy's team comp is actually really good. The Ashe is weird,
Yeah.
but it works.
It excites me as well because, like you said, for a pick composition, it's brilliant at the same time. You throw an arrow out, any target that gets hit by a cocoon, you've then got Winter's Bite, the fact that, you know, you can chase people down with Braum so easily.
You know the best
and chain
part?
these picks together. What's the best part?
Kog'Maw stands still.
He does. He is the guru.
I hear it's pretty easy to hit an Ashe arrow on someone standing still and stun them.
Well, I mean,
Just
Soraka's
saying.
the same. If there's no one hanging around that's on incredibly low health, the Soraka's going to be a sitting duck at the same time.
I mean, literally sitting duck though. Like,
Yeah,
like he's like an actual goo hose that's on like a leash. You know, like normal hoses they run out. Yeah, he's only got this much room to work with if he presses W.
yeah.
So it's pretty easy to hit him.
Gunk, gunk. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I know
so
exactly
that's
what you mean.
that's
So I
what
was
he
trying to
does.
act it out for
Yeah.
everyone. You know, it's like, see how we're in this like small box right now? Like this sort of, like he's in that sort of, that range. Sort of makes a bit of sense. Well, Mid Beast is going to lock away the Ahri. Let's just move away from that. I don't know how deep I needed to go right there, but probably not that deep, as the Ahri has been picked up. Of course, definite comfort pick for Mid Beast. Nailed it. Change the subject.
Yes,
Did well.
absolutely is. And into the Lulu should be fine.
Yeah.
Of course, Midbeast being on comfort is a big deal. The concern is always going to be Midbeast falling behind. If he averages at 10 minutes, minus 16 CS on the average, that hurts him a lot. Whereas Choose is known to be a very strong farmer and works with the team well. So what is this middle ground for Midbeast at the moment is honestly just keeping Choose in lane and not falling behind.
Yeah, well, you can see it was actually another thing that we need to mention is the flexibility here on the side of Legacy. It was, in fact, the Gangplank there in the top lane and Lulu in the mid lane. But we want to hear from you. Use that hashtag LGC win if you think Legacy are going to be able to take this one. Or if you're one of those crazy people that believe in miracles, use that hashtag INF win and let us know if you think Infernum are going to take this game. Because, I mean, I do like the fact that Jack Attack, of course, one of the players that our desk was talking about being a bit of a shining light here for Infernum, he's on that big burly tank. He's got about 400 different forms of CC. If there's something Jack can do, it's play these tanks. We'll see whether he's going to be able to, but it's going to be a hard game for them this time around.
Yeah, and of course, he is playing Nautilus into the Gangplank. There's a chance he goes for the ZZ Rock Portal build again, as we just saw from Swiper the last two games. So there's a real chance that split push control Jack Attack is what we'll see here. And remember, guys, this is a legend match.
Yeah.
There is a title on the line. This is Legacy's first time defending their new title. And we'll see how they go.
And if Infernum beat Legacy here, take the title, and then don't lose again, Legacy will never have an opportunity to get it back because, of course, they've already faced a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
But that's
Well,
called
yes and
daring
no.
to dream.
Because like if Infernum lose as well, there's
Well,
chances.
no, that's
Either way.
yeah. But assuming that they don't, as Malik is going to take a couple of procs here from Regret, as Midbeast is hanging around. Stealthic's down here as well. Maybe a little bit too far, as he's trying to dodge something. Not entirely sure what it was, as I don't think Charm was picked up first here by Midbeast. And King just roaming around. We'll see whether it is going to be some sort of swap or something like that. Probably not. As Heartseeker Ash going to be moving towards the bottom side of the map.
And yeah, Legacy just trying to stop any funny business at level 1. I think they'll take maybe the small blue Sentinel, or the Sentry, rather, is what it is called.
Oh, Greedy taking 2 of them.
40 gold is a big deal.
Yeah.
From a jungler. Not necessarily for the AD carry, to be fair, they get all the farm. But the fact that you're not getting that on Gragas does actually hurt, and the bit of experience that you lose from that. So, cute play here from Legacy.
And they lose nothing for it here as well, as none of the minions were missed as far as experience is concerned. Winter's Bite does land on the Stealthix, and we'll just see how this lane goes, because if what King's been doing has anything to do with how this game's going to go, I have definite worries here for Infernum, because King has just been completely ballistic. His scoreline, 6-0-4, 4-0-4, 10-0, 10, 9-1, and 4.
It's just not the King of old, though, and that's what we're really looking for.
What, like 15, 16, 17, something like that, one of those sort of scorelines?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
I
much.
miss it as well. I miss it a lot.
It was great, but again, he's on the Ashe, so low mobility, has to position himself perfectly. Doesn't have a Soraka to keep him alive.
In order to get in, he has to use his flash, though, so we may see the flash forward plays.
And just take a second to appreciate that it's a cull start here for Stealthix.
Oh, wow.
Has a Soraka, so isn't worried about the loss of percentage lifesteal by any means. Goes an on-hit build, so lifesteal's not that effective on a Kog'Maw.
Yep.
Plus, they change the efficiency of cull, so you get a bit of extra money.
Well, Carbon's coming through to the top side as Jack Attack was slowed down. Dredgeline comes in, but look at how much damage he's taking. First Blood looks so easy here for the Legacy jungler.
And that's the trick. Never throw the cocoon, always threaten it. Jack Attack had no chance for escape, and he does go down quite effectively, overstaying his welcome, as well as Tally hits the double keg, hits the passive on him, and just repeatedly batters and bruises him down until Carbon gets in.
Carbon's Elise play has been so utterly impressive.
Yeah.
He's always been a brilliant Elise player, but it's just really, really good. As Seb, he's going to make his way into the enemy jungle, picks up a red buff. Just utilizing the fact that Carbon was in the top lane quite early on.
Yep.
But, of course, I believe that was his red buff taken away. I'm not entirely sure how the junglers have been going. We've been paying too much attention bottom lane.
Smart play from Seb, taking what he can. Of course, I believe he went red to red. That was the side of the map he started on when he got a leash from his jungler.
Okay, cool. Well, King dealing with Stealthix right now, but
Carbon's
Carbon right in here as there's the exhaust onto Stealthix. Another auto attack will do it as the flash forward from Carbon is going to lock it in. Exhaust down onto the Elise is not going to be quite enough as a Cathian surprise is going to be used, but probably isn't going to do enough damage as King just soaks it up and doesn't really mind. Tally now actually getting some aggression here from Jack Attack, but really nice gank once again from Carbon.
And we're already seeing the pains of a Soraka, to be fair. How long it took to take down the Kog'Maw. Summoners used, exhaust used, and the chances of a repeat gank entirely there in favor of Legacy. But wow, that actually felt like it took far too long to take him down.
Oh, Malik actually trying to soak
He
up
could
this
die.
wave. Yeah, there's the last auto attack, and that's going to do it. Look at how much damage the minions were doing, and Legacy just grab another kill. Give it to the AD carry.
That was super greedy from Malik, though, trying to freeze the minion wave. It was 12 probably strong with a cannon to boot.
And he had flash available as well, just decided not to throw it.
Yeah, and Seb's now mid, though.
Yeah, there's the flash body slam as Choo Choo's gets hit by the charm. The Ignite's going to help out, and Midbeast locks down the kill. So Infernum, they get one back.
They do get one on the board. Seb showing his proactivity, counter-jungling and ganking. Carbon's here, though.
Yeah, he's going to find Seb down to half health from the first combo from the Elise. Just defending diligently on that pink ward.
Seb doesn't even know it's a pink ward. I don't think all he saw was the oracles light up on his head.
Well, there's a
No one
teleport
better
in
kill it.
from Lulu here in the mid lane. Takes himself an orb of deception, but the shield is going to help out. As Choose, just pushes him away from the siege minion.
Yeah, mid-beast out of mana. Does have to recall. No teleport to get him back in, of course. Does have a kill, though. So slight advantage, extra gold in his back pocket.
Yep. Ooh, mid-beast actually almost towards that Abyssal Scepter as well. Only about 700 odd gold and until that one will be done. Morellonomicon for Choo Choo's is going to be the choice as he's got 20% CDR from his items alone already completed. It's Carbon waiting for the return of Jack Attack, and it's just, I said too easy before, it is remaining the same way as there's the Cocoon. He uses the Dredge Line though, he gets underneath the turret. Meanwhile in the bottom lane, Stealthix struggling a whole lot. Cannon Barrage used from Tally in the top lane, but Seb's here. King locks down the kill. A Cathian surprise may help, but Seb in trouble. My God, you're exactly right. The Soraka falling down so low, they ain't done. On every single front, Legacy fighting as Carbon can't get the repels there, but the turret followed him into the sky. Is that where the death chamber is? I don't know, but he was trying to get there before the turret bolt. And look, a slightly mistimed dive as Jack Attack played it quite nicely underneath that turret.
Over-aggression, you have to remember Tally got the ultimate used bottom.
In the middle of a dive.
Yes, and this is what I want to touch on, is the map awareness and communication of Legacy was, whilst killing top lane, uses the ultimate in the right position bot lane to secure a kill down there, sets the bottom lane up for success. May have caused Carbon to die in response, but it was worth it.
Yeah, because it was awesome.
Because Carbon may be the one who dies, but Tally stays and farms, and bot lane do get a successful kill for it. So still a positive trade here. Legacy showing off some superior teamwork though thus far.
Yeah, most definitely. Jack Attack though did get the shutdown on the Elise, so that could be a big deal as he's got his bum in Cinder.
Shutdown now though, isn't it?
Well, that's true.
Everyone gets team gold. It's like 50 apiece for everyone on the team.
Nailed it. Well, Midbeast can use the ultimate, jumps forward, but doesn't get the CC of the charm. Doesn't matter because Seb's down. Explosive Cast goes in. Choo Choo's does shield himself, flashes over the top. Lots of slows down as he's not dead yet. Not sure how.
Oh, the arrow!
The arrow comes in. Seb completely out of mana. Cocoon's too easy as that arrow was such long range. The stun lasted forever. Carbon ain't finished as Midbeast, no mana to speak of, uses a Foxfire with it. Won't be able to get the charm, but Carbon doesn't want to dive again because last time it killed him.
Legacy are ridiculous with their team. I can't believe the arrow connected firstly. That was just unbelievable. But the fact that a minute ago, we saw a Gangplank ultimate whilst fighting affect bottom, and then a minute later, we see King's ultimate affect mid whilst he's farming bottom. It's just the whole team of Legacy are on the same page, and it's really impressive to see.
Hive mind, Rusty. It feels like a hive mind right now. As Infernum trying to push up this bottom lane. Of course, they do have a bunch of power picks. That Gragas has been already doing work in the mid lane for Midbeast, as well as Stealthix able to farm up quite nicely here despite the couple of deaths. But 2-0-2 for King. Got a couple of long swords, got himself a crit cloak there as well. Looks like Essence Reaver will be item number 1 here for the Ashe. And I actually have no idea what the standard build for Ashe is at the moment. I haven't seen her for a very long time.
Is that not Infinity Edge?
Well, why are there two long
could
swords?
Be. Oh, who knows? Let's just go with Essence Reaver.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's what it looks like. But you're exactly
Yeah.
right. I mean, Infinity Edge feels like a pretty good item on the old Ashe, who just tends
Just
to
a variety
crit
bucket.
on every single auto attack.
A mixed bag of emotions and items.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Ashe at the moment.
I like it. Stealthix hanging out underneath this turret. He's already used that W. We'll see how he goes. Malik is going to make his way back in. And King just moving very far forward. You can see there's the arrow. And the Soraka is not going to last very long. The Cocoon just thrown out for fun as King locks down the kill with the help of the Braum passive. And the Cannon Barrage just there to zone.
Tell me Legacy don't look better than the 2015 Chiefs again, I dare you. This is absurd how strong they look right now. And they're just laning. This is actually just laning. And this is a team that's known for their macro play. This is such a good start in game 1 for Legacy, honestly. Now they go straight to the Dragon.
Yeah, King and Carbon are going to be able to lock that one down. You saw Choo Choo's giving a lot of respect to Midbeast in the mid lane as he was moving very far away, just farming from safety. Just shows that Legacy, not only are they playing so incredibly well coordinated as, oh my god, Jack Attack taking a lot of damage, but they're playing so well coordinated, but also this is with respect to their opponents at the same time, as Seb does have to body slam his way over the wall, can't finish the kill on that pink ward.
That just sums this game up perfectly though right there, as the Tally fights Jack Attack, gets him to half health, and then just goes and fights Seb separately.
Yeah.
It just goes, get away from my pink ward.
Yeah, it's my turret as well, guys.
And now Legacy, they immediately rotate. They get the turret bot lane, they get another pick, and they work towards top. This is the point in the game where they try and accelerate the lead, open the map up further for themselves, and just unlock team fighting.
Yeah, well, Trinity Force completed here for Tally as well. He's well and truly powered up as he's sitting on 3 assists already. Essence Reaver has actually been done here from King, so wants to have as many arrows as possible as he builds towards his critical strike. So 30% cooldown reduction from that one with some crit is going to be very, very helpful here
You also
for
get
the
guaranteed crits on Ashe, which is nice.
Yeah, which is why I was thinking, you know, the Infinity Edge would have been a great first one just because you're guaranteed to do even more damage each time.
Same concept as a lot of other champions.
Yeah.
Misfortune, Lucian. You can crit more with Infinity Edge, but you want to keep mana because you spell weave as Ashe.
It's a very good point. And just the multiple, like the utility that you get out of throwing out as many volleys as possible is such a great thing. This Choo-Choo's, he's completed all of his CDR, assuming he's got 10% in those runes. Lucidity Boots and Morello Nomicon completed. And he's sitting on a 16 CS lead as Harold is not long for this world here towards the top side of the map. We are 12.5 minutes into this game, and Legacy with a commanding lead already of about 5,000 gold. ZZ Rot Portal is exactly right, Rusty, has been picked up here for Jack Attack, but look at the wave clear coming out of Tally already. That is not what we're used to seeing from Gangplanks at this stage of the game.
Yeah, he's about a BF sort away from optimal wave clear, and he's so comfortable in that bottom lane. Look at the pinks that they're just about to get rid of one of. Of course, there are still 2 remaining.
Yeah, Charm comes down. Midbeast takes
mind,
a third of his health in 1 Q, but the flash over as the explosive cast comes in, and Choo-Choo's already down to protect his top laner. Carbon, in the meantime, is getting a gank here towards the top side. Look at the Wombo combo as King throws in the arrow as well. Just walks through the turret, but gets out of range as the depth charge comes through. And Legacy will lock down another turret as well as a kill on Jack Attack.
The crowd control chain that Legacy are putting into effect. Braum and Ashe is such a dangerous bottom lane. As Choo-Choo's is showing his pressure.
Yeah, force some flashes out of Midbeast here as well. He's completely out of mana, doesn't have the ultimate available, and now no flash.
Wow, they're trading turrets.
Yeah, isn't going to move forward as Infernum do grab the outer turret in the mid lane. You're exactly right, but we'll see whether it is going to mean double inner turrets as Legacy push forward on both flanks.
Well, that means they've got the Rift Herald, so in terms of getting turrets down, you look at this Legacy side and you'd favor them. Doesn't mean that Infernum made a bad decision by any means, because I wouldn't go next to a 5-1 Elise or a 3-0 Ashe either.
No.
Not as a 0-2 Kog'Maw. Of course, the Gwyn's Rage Blade is completed. Doing a lot of damage now at least, and has the Soraka there to keep him alive. With that level 6 as well.
That is very true. I mean, as far as late game power is concerned, I mean, they've got a Kog'Maw, so...
You're also looking at having Ahri split as much as you can now to try and bridge the gap, but the fact they're going ZZ Rot Portal on Jack Attack, once that is completed, Midbeast shouldn't be splitting. It should be just Nautilus. And then they'll be sharing farm, so they could run into some issues here.
Or run into Carbon, as Jack Attack is going to have to walk through him. There's the Cocoon, but I don't know whether enough distance has been gained here from the Gangplank, as Choo-Choo's is over the top. Will have the Glitter Lance, but doesn't land it onto Nautilus. In a rare display of a failed gank here from Carbon.
Choo should have flashed.
Damn right he should.
Carbon.
If this was another time, and he would have flashed as well.
I'm just saying Carbon would have. Just so you know.
Well, here's a tweet in from Zosef. I will actually dye my hair bright blue if Infernum take this best of 3. Hashtag legacy win. You don't want bright blue hair? Ridiculous.
You know what? That's a fair bet.
Yeah. I think you'd look fantastic with bright blue hair. I don't know what you're talking about. As there's the volley. And Infernum taking a whole bunch of damage. Yeah, but honestly, I would, happily do whatever the heck you like, because it just doesn't really look like Infernum have the level of control and power that Legacy do right now. And it's not necessarily based on supreme individual play, even though they are very, very strong individual players. It's this teamwork. It's just insane.
Yeah, just on another level. And to be fair, they picked on the bottom lane as a 2v2. Malik is the sub support.
Yep, that's a
so
good point.
He's not that refined as a support player, and defaulting to a champion like Soraka runs a very real risk. And Infernum, of course, they have the Glitter Lance, so they can just go and get the kill. But Legacy, they have the Glitter Lance, so they can just go and get the kill. But Infernum, of course, they have the Glitter Lance, so they can just go and get the kill. But Legacy, they have the Glitter Lance, so they can just go and get the kill. But Infernum, of course, they have the Glitter Lance, so they can just go and get the kill. But Infernum, of course, they have the Glitter Lance, so they can just go and get the kill. But Infernum, of course, they have the Glitter Lance, so they can just go and get the kill. But Infernum, of course, they have the Glitter Lance, so they can just go and get the kill. But Infernum, of course, they have the Glitter Lance, so they can just go and get the kill. But Infernum, of course, they have the Glitter Lance, so they can just go and get the kill. But Infernum, of course, they have the Glitter Lance, so they that they shouldn't really be taking against Legacy, because the Ashe is a pocket pick that not many people have actually looked at or respected against the Kog'Maw fully just yet.
Yeah, I really, really like it.
It's always been so good. Like Celtics and just Kog'Maw in general is a sit and spit. That's what he was labeled as.
Well, there's another Cocoon as Celtics takes about half of his health bar. Immediately, Soraka is going to try and heal that one up as Tally misses the barrel. A little bit sad. Half of the health is now down, though, as Midbeast is actually looking for the charm. I believe he found it on a Tally, but the oranges were there as Jack Attack makes his way around. Barrel's going to clear out the minion wave immediately. And there's the arrow in the mid lane. Cannon barrage down, as well as a massive explosive cast is going to mean that they are split, but already the cannon barrage doing so much work. Malik's already dead, and that's going to spell a dead turret here as well.
The arrow connected immediately. GP and Braum ultimates to lock it down. And that is one of the 4 members gone. Ari with no ultimate to speak of also. And Legacy with complete control of this map now. They start to crash down on objectives and gold leads.
Yeah, King now just pushing through here on the bottom side of the map. I mean, this is what he'd prepared earlier. We're going to use a cooking show line. And Jack Attack trying to body block this one, but he's getting taken down solo, stunned up, and Carbon's going to lock down the kill. More arrows coming out here from King as the repel. Carbon does have the wild growth there as well, so not close to dying right now.
You can't body block anything Legacy offers because, to be honest, they will body you.
Yeah. No one has tankiness to stand through this. 10,000 gold now at 17 minutes in this game. Legacy move over to grab their second dragon.
Some more turret power in the hands of Legacy. And with a gold lead this large at 17 minutes, it's nasty. And honestly, the biggest difference to me is that top lane discrepancy. And like, yeah, jungle's massive, right? But Seb's done his job.
It's not just to you, that's 3,000.
Yeah.
That top lane discrepancy is out of control.
Tally's at his big power point. It is honestly just the BF sword after you get a Trinity Force. You can always clear the backline guaranteed with the kegs. It's unstoppable right now, Tally.
Yeah. Swiftness boots completed here as well as he's got the movement speed from the Trinity Force. Hard to lock down this gangplank, especially with those oranges.
Let's also appreciate the fact that the gangplank and Lulu could be switched at any time to the opposite role.
Yeah.
Like, there's just
Oh, this is cool.
so many points of power.
King with the Renan's Hurricane. Now that it has crit on it,
Yeah.
such a great Ashe item. Man, that's real exciting. Frost shots across everyone. Carbon is going to be able to take Harold down one more time. Of course, a minute before he goes back into the void. Cute little barrel comes in from Seb, but I'm not sure whether they'll be able to grab the Harold as Carbon's just going to pull it out and destroy it. There's a little bit of extra pushing power here as well as King is just shoving here in the mid lane. Just looks like he hasn't left a minion wave. It is still there because the arrow, in its global effect, is able to help things out. Seb moving around. Cocoon does land. King is holding on to the arrow for the moment as the charm is not going to find anyone.
And the typical 1-3-1 starts to commence. They're pressuring all lanes of the map. Of course, they've sent the AD champion to deal with the Rot Portal lane.
Yep, like it.
Take that one down. It's a long cooldown, so if you can get rid of it quick, things will be fine for Legacy. The double teleport in, again, typical fashion. Because this 3-man, quite capable.
Yeah, well, another Cocoon is going to land. There's the Glacial Fissure as the explosive cask is used. But look at that Cannon Barrage positioning. And Choo Choo's is going to be able to lock out Jack Attack. They use this to create the space in order to take down the inner turret. Legacy, when they turn it on, they turn it on.
Don't even need the GP. Just the ultimate, and they can still take down kills and objectives and brute force their way in. This could be the early Baron push here from Legacy. Right on 20 minutes.
Yep, well, it looks like they've started
they're doing
it up. It's going to be a bit of a struggle tanking this one, but you can see they've got plenty of damage right now. Down to 5,000 health already. The teleport is going to be used. Tally realizes that they will need his assistance in the Baron pit, and that one is going to fall down. They made short work of it as the Orb of Deception is going to discover Choo Choo's and the purple things rotating around him, indicating that they're too late.
Got the purple swirls.
The purple swirls.
Midbeast, the only one to rotate quick enough. It could have been a blind bait, given that it's 20 minutes in this game, and Carbon showing off his confidence, let's say, with the item build.
Yep, Soul Stealer now completed here. Very standard item
Aptly
here for
named,
Elise.
honestly, at this point.
Yeah, man. He's certainly been doing so. 6, 1, and 3. Gigantic Spider Lady. As Seb going towards that Iceborne Gauntlet as item number 2 here for the Gragas. Do like the build quite a lot. Essence Reaver completed for Tally as well, as he's got his 40% CDR from just those 2 items. Man, everything coming together here for Legacy.
Yeah, this is a pretty, I'm going to say pretty crazy game, as the arrow actually hits Jack.
Yeah, Cocoon's there as well. Carbon can actually follow up on this, and I wasn't expecting him to be able to. I think he's just too excited about it, as he has to flash over the wall mid-beast, looking for the Cocoon, but doesn't find it, as that repel was timed so nicely there from Carbon. The Cannon Barrage comes down one more time. Malik almost dies from the damage of that alone. Flashing over the wall is King. That's what we want to see from you. 2 kills already, as Infernum falling left, right, and center, and Legacy just looking so powerful.
Legacy are playing with their food right now, just not pulling the trigger yet. Finally, they start to break the base with these Baron buffs. Carbon trying to steal some souls.
Yep.
But doesn't find it, as the rest of Legacy consolidate around his aggression.
That arrow was definitely not aimed at Jack Attack there, and I think Carbon was like, oh, well, I can go on that, so I probably should, because, look, I'm here, so let's do it. Of course, Infernum were able to collapse, but it was a really nice flash and fantastic repel timing to make sure that mid-beast, he really wanted it, just couldn't quite get there in time. Legacy
Rarely,
just looks
though.
so strong.
Rarely do you see games look this easy. And Legacy are making it look that easy against what is an annoying ZZ Rot split push Nautilus.
Well, the thing is, like, it's not even that it looks easy. It's just that they look so coordinated. It looks like a dance almost.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, teamwork makes it look easy.
Yeah, it makes team, like, yeah. Whoop, arrow.
Oh, I think it's like the first miss.
Yeah, it's going to cruise by Malik. He almost dies to Choo Choo's alone here, though, as the volley is coming through. Tally now in the back line. The wild growth is there, though. I was sure he was going to die as he flashes out of the way. Does fall down in the end, but Stealthix is going to die as well. Choo Choo's has to watch out for the Acathian surprise, but Legacy still moving forward. There's a Glacial Fissure, and double kill comes in now for King, who just walks off to try and take down minions, as the rest of them are going to try and destroy mid-base. Regret underneath the turret, as Carbon is going to lock that one down, and he doesn't even fall. King's there, Jack Attack trying to tank things up, and in comes the teleport from Choo Choo's, who somehow managed to survive. And this Legacy team just continuing to push through. That is going to be the 3rd inhibitor. They're going to grab every single structure this game, as they are pushing through onto Nexus turrets at 24 minutes in this game.
They're just making the gold lead as big as they possibly can. King is having a laugh throughout this game, and the last defiance from Infernum. The Nexus turrets fall.
Yeah, Jack Attack is going to fall down here. Double kill comes in for King, as that Cannon Barrage is doing so much work. Stealthix is going to go down for the triple kill. Can he grab a Quadra as they're trying to run back to their fountain? Seb in a bunch of trouble, as there's the wild growth, but it is going to be Carbon that picks that one up. It's a Quadra kill, but Legacy do get the ace.
Carbon pretty much stole a Penta just there from
For
his
the
AD
fun of
carry.
it, man. Oh, this guy. But he does understand that Carbon did a heck of a lot of work that game. Man, Legacy just looking completely on point.
Absolutely. Legacy, that is honestly a game we expect to see from them. They're the top of the table team. They've got the belt as well, so this is a Legends title match.
Yeah.
And they retain that with emphatic fashion.
My God, they just look completely unstoppable on the Rift. And I'm not necessarily saying this as against Inferno or anything like that. They are not necessarily the best team in the league at the moment, but that was Legacy looking completely out of control. We are going to throw it over to the analyst desk, though, to break down that game.
Thank you so much, Atlas and Rusty. We will try and break down exactly what happened that game. And as all things, you got to start in Champion Select, because I feel like Infernum were like, we don't have a great support player right now. We're playing with an emergency. Soraka, like, very easy champion to execute, you know. I've seen it in solo queue. It's so overpowered, but doesn't really work that way in competitive play for Oscarin, does it?
No, and we pretty much saw exactly why it doesn't work that way in competitive. She's just so susceptible to ganks, which is why you need to... Typically, when you see the Braum come through, you know that it's going to be stacked with Lucian, just because it's very easy for Lucian to proc Braum's passive, the concussive blows, with his passive, the double tap. But as soon as you saw the Soraka and they changed it up to the Ashe, I'm like, that Soraka's dead. There's no way. She's dead.
And that's kind of what happened. Like, to be honest, like the philosophy of the draft makes a lot of sense for me for Infernum. I think as far as building a strong Cogmore comp goes and having comfort for the respective players, like with Mid-Beast on Ari, with Nautilus in the top there for Jack, that's what I expect to see from them. But Gragas is maybe the tricky one there. Seb is more of an aggressive jungler. He couldn't make plays, and the issue there is, like you said, bottom lane was just left wide open for feeding.
And that was the brilliance, is in Carbon identifying that there was so much kill pressure in that lane as soon as the Soraka came up. Having the Gangplank up into the top lane, Gangplank versus Nautilus. I mean, typically we talk about Bruiser versus Bruiser, but if you know that all of the action is going to be down to the bottom lane, just pick GP, have the global ultimate, and we saw that in the first blood, just dropping it down there and doing so much damage.
Yeah, he certainly did. But the other thing Carbon did was he went top first to make sure Tally was ahead, because Nautilus, Gragas is a very good lane to gank for. He's like, I'm not going to allow that to happen. I'm a quicker jungler. I'll sack my red buff, get up there, make sure I get my top laner ahead. A lot of credit given over to Carbon for this game. King also had a terrific performance, but on a role-playing AD carry. I never thought I would see the day where King plays Ashe.
I love it. And I mean, King is just showing that he is maturing as a player. Yes, he's still doing like somewhat aggressive things, but this is not nearly the King we saw on ADC Graves last year when he was just going on, flashing into people, outplaying at every possible point. Like, his Ashe mechanics are on point. You watch how he plays, and he's clearly a very talented player. But I agree. I think him on a role player, it's nice to see, and it just speaks to the maturity of the player. If King just needs to keep down the same road, it's clearly working for him. So just keep on it.
It also kind of translates your aggression to the team's aggression, because Ashe gets to decide right then and there, we're fighting now.
Yeah, it looked to be that he was the one getting a lot of those things started. The player I do want to zoom in on Infernum, I've spoken to him about him a little bit tonight, is Seb. He picked up Gragas in that game. Kind of looked like he wanted to get involved, but he was like, all right, top lane, you're too far behind. I can't really help you out. Bottom lane, I have no idea what's going down there. I'm going to try and help mid-beast. We talked about the 2v2. Did keep Choose down somewhat, but it was a strange performance out of Seb. Like, he was trying, but it just wasn't there.
But this is what we talked about before. When your mid laner loses control of the mid lane, it just kind of seeps into everything, and it starts with the jungle primarily, just because you're going to be slower to the rotation should an invade come through. So Seb did get a great gank off into the mid lane where he flash body slam into a charm, but it was too little too late. Everyone else was losing across the map. There's not much he can do for damage control there.
Yeah, you certainly can't. And what that led to was a resounding victory for Game 1 for Legacy. But don't go anywhere, guys. Infernum will have a chance to hit back after this 3.5-minute break. We'll see you there.